I'm going to do an insight video today. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks or like a bit of time again because I've been on holiday. But I've woken up this morning and the first thing that's sort of like been impressed on me is to do like intuition and insight. And where does this come from? There's something called the universal law of inspired action. And this very much connects to your infinite self and like your higher self. And this connects to sort of intuition, and inspired action is a universal law that when we sort of add vibration and consciousness to our thoughts, then they start to sort of like come into or manifest into reality. So basically this morning I've sort of woken up and I had a little bit of space while I was downstairs, and I was just like waiting to take my wife to work this morning, and I kept getting sort of like impressed upon me sort of like the date today. Like numerology is another sort of like intuitive sort of way that sort of oneness vibration or source energy and the guides and the ascended masters and angels or helpers or whatever you sort of define as the energetic beings that work with us, that help to sort of like lift our consciousness and lift our awareness. And this morning I was just sat in a sort of like in a space of awareness this morning, where I was open, had that sort of like space of vibration this morning, and it was being impressed upon me the date today, and numerology was what came in. It was like 0909, so I had to just look at the date of like the fact it's 0909, so it's the ninth day of the ninth month, and that was all I was sort of like it sort of like guided towards, or the impression was given. So I started looking at that. I know with numerology you've got 0909, which if you add those two together, you add the two last numbers together, make 18, and then you've had 8 plus 1 together, that comes to 9. And then like in numerology, so you've got like the number 9, which is like, I know is to do with like cycles of like rebirth, cycles to do with like cycles of sort of like transformation, cycles of awareness, all that kind of thing. But it's also to do with enlightenment as well. So I know now today that when it was being impressed upon me, it's all about like a shift in awareness, a shift in like enlightenment. Again, is the process of being enlightened. It's seeing things differently. You know, for me, enlightenment is seeing something different, seeing something in a different way. So you're enlightened, you see something different. So it's like, this is what this sort of like is the impression they're giving me today is very much around that. So like it's a shift in awareness for me singularly, for my own spiritual journey. But then again, you've got to remember it's about oneness vibration, oneness frequency. So oneness frequency, oneness vibration works not just for the singular, it works on a singular aspect, but it also works on a collective aspect. So it starts to sort of like sort of like the impression or the intuition start to sort of like open up and expand. And this is what oneness vibration does. It expands your consciousness, it expands your awareness, it expands your being to start to receive vibration and frequency of information, awareness, consciousness. And another thing that they were talking to me about today was consciousness, and how sort of like vibration, the relationship of vibration and consciousness, how they're sort of like in harmony. And when they're in harmony, that's when you start to like shift and change reality and manifest and start to sort of like create a different sort of reality, a different awareness. And I've noticed this morning as well, as I wake up sometimes like at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is what I do with my wife when we take her to work. And sometimes I wake up and I feel quite heavy. But like the vibration and frequency today was light, and it's very light and bright and it's vibrant. But so I know that there's a shifting and changing in awareness, and there's a shifting and changing in vibration and frequency for all of us. So for me, the day is very much around cycles, but it's very much around change as well. And this is what number 9 brings. It's like bringing this change, this cycle. So it's bringing a new vibration, a new frequency in for many of us, and it's an ending of a cycle. So you start to realise then that, you know, an ending of a cycle means there's like a rebirth going on, like there's a new awakening, there's a new awareness, there's a new consciousness, there's a new frequency coming very much for us through this spiritual evolution, this spiritual sort of journey for each and every one of us. So 9 is really symbolic and it's really powerful. It's a powerful number, and it's coming through today for many of us. So this is how it works, and this is why I wanted to talk about guidance, and I wanted to talk about the universal law of inspired action and impressions, because it only takes well, it feels like a second for an impression to come in, but then it expands, and when it expands, the frequency expands, and then your frequency expands where your awareness expands, and then your consciousness expands, and then you're in that space of source energy, source vibration, source frequency, oneness vibration. And from that second of that inspiration, and energy and information and knowledge and wisdom flows instantly within that space. But from that second of awareness, there comes this like I said, this frequency, this expansion, where you start to, from that, it's like that second of intuition, that second of awareness is like a key of consciousness. It unlocks a door. It unlocks a door of consciousness and awareness, where you then, it allows the universe, and it allows the oneness vibration, it allows the knowledge, the wisdom to flow in. So it just shows you within infinite sort of vibration, and like the oneness vibration, how it works. It works, and it flows in, and it flows in like what feels like seconds or moments within our life. But that second and moment is so important to take notice of, because it then expands something. It expands our awareness, it expands our consciousness. So then we become connected, we become in sort of unified with that oneness vibration. And from that second of awareness, where we're sort of like, we recognize it, this information flows in, and then it shifts and changes our reality and our awareness. And what it does is it then brings in knowledge and wisdom that allows us to shift out of a moment where maybe we've become sort of like, we've become stuck in that moment. And this is why it's important that we remain open, and it's also important that we recognize when there's information and impressions that are coming in. And that's how guidance works. But it also shows the power of that sort of vibration, of the power of that infinite vibration, that oneness moment, that oneness vibration, that it only takes a second to unlock that consciousness. So the more we're aware, the more we start to understand, and the more we can shift and change something. So the practice feels like, for me, a lot of the time is like, a lot of the time you're sort of like within the 3D reality when you're at work, and you're dealing with the everyday things. Have I got enough money? Have I got enough fuel in the car? Am I going to get to work? What's going to happen at work today? What do I have to do? Do I have to go and get the shopping? All those things are a 3D reality. But when we're sort of like connected, and we've got guides, and we've got the helpers, and we've got universal teachers and beings around us, that that when we have that 1 second of space, when that impression comes in, to recognize it opens up a new state of awareness, a new state of being. It allows us to connect with the oneness vibration. So for me, the practice is to try and remain open. Try and remain open as an open channel. And this is part of I feel what they're trying to say is the part of the cycle of change. It's the rebirth. It's the rebirth into to vibrations and frequencies, and the rebirth into the fifth dimensional reality, which is the dimensional reality of vibration and frequency. And also perpetual transmutation is all about energetic. It's all about the oneness vibration, the oneness frequency, and the fact that we can be aligned with it. But it's really powerful, but it's really important as well, that 1 second. So it should also tell you that at any moment, at any time, again, the perpetual transmutation is about that. It's about nothing. In the oneness vibration, it teaches us that if we're open as beings, or an open channel, and we receive that one insight, that reality can be shifted and changed. But it also tells us that we can sort of like connect more into the fifth dimensional reality of energy and frequency, and live our lives through that. And through that, we sort of like, we have an understanding that through living through the energetic reality of the fifth dimension, and vibrating from that place of consciousness and awareness, that we then create and manifest the physical reality and the 3D world. And this is where you see the relationship between the fifth dimension and the third dimension. That, you know, the fifth dimension is the place of creation, awareness, um, connection, union, and knowledge and wisdom. And when we can vibrate from there, and this is why the universal law of correspondence is important, because the universal law of correspondence creates a space for us to connect to our source, to our infinite self, to be in that oneness vibration, to receive that information and knowledge, one, for us singularly, but two, for us collectively. And this is what we're all doing as channels, and this is what we do as beings when we're like, for me, this is why I do these videos. It's about sharing that vibration, that frequency, and by me vibrating and aligning with the fifth dimensional frequency, it's then shifting, it's sending out a vibration, a frequency, a consciousness, an awareness vibration. It ripples out to the planet, and it ripples out in the 3D reality, and then that allows other beings to consciously connect to their own fifth dimensional reality, their fifth dimensional vibration, the oneness vibration, the oneness frequency, and it allows them to also connect to their infinite selves. And this is what it's all about. It's about awakening. This is what the ascension process is. It's about all of us awakening as one collective in the oneness vibration. The oneness vibration is a miraculous thing. The fact that, you know, when we're in that vibration, we can vibrate in a place where we can release, dissolve, and create and manifest at will in that oneness vibration, because we know that vibration, that frequency, allows us to receive information, receive knowledge, and then to create and manifest that sort of consciousness, that awareness within our own realities, within our own lives. And it allows us to not become sort of so connected within the external world, but like to live from the internal world. And the internal world is the fifth dimensional reality, the reality of vibration, frequency. The external world is the physical world, the physical manifestation of physical objects, physical reality. But it's also, beyond that physical reality, is also source energy and the source vibration, because all physical manifestation starts off as vibrations of energy, of frequency. And so you know that within that physical reality is also the blueprint of the fifth dimensional reality, and that's the oneness vibration. You start to realize the physical reality is only a manifestation of vibration and frequency of energy. And when you start to see beyond that, then you start to live as a vibration, as a frequency. And this is what, you know, the shifting in consciousness, the ending of cycles of the awareness, the ending of cycles of moving from the 3D reality to the 5D reality, where you start to create and manifest consciously as a being of vibration and frequency. And this is where vibration and frequency and consciousness come in and have a relationship again, because you start to understand that beyond the physical reality is the fifth dimensional reality of vibration and frequency, because all things are vibration and frequency. So you can harmonize and align the 3D reality, your external world, with your internal world. They become one. They become one in that oneness vibration, and then they can start to you can start to create from your vibration, your frequency, consciously, to then create and manifest within the physical world. So the physical world then becomes a reflection of your inner world, which is your inner vibration and frequency of your consciousness and your awareness. And this is the shift in evolution, the shift in awareness, and the shift in consciousness for each and every one of us. And this is why it's important that, you know, you recognize these impressions, because that 1 second can sort of liberate you, it can awaken you, it can give you the freedom to start to create and manifest. And then this is where the rebirth comes, and this is where that 9 comes in, which is the cycles, the cycle of like evolution, the cycle of cycles of like rebirth, of vibration, consciousness, awareness. And again, it works on a singular level, but then it works on a collective level. So first of all, it works on the singular level, where you become awakened to it, and you start to vibrate from your own inner vibration, and connect with that wondrous vibration, the source energy. So you express it first of all from yourself as a singular, and then once you've awakened to that, then you create and manifest in the external world from your your vibration, your frequency, your consciousness, your knowledge, your wisdom, and then it starts to ripple out to the planet, and then it connects to us all consciously, because then we start to awaken, and you start to connect to each other, and this starts to bring this awareness back to this age, this spiritual age of evolution. And this is what we're all doing here, and this is all part of it. So that's why the 9 was important, because it's a shifting in awareness, a shifting in consciousness. That's the insight for today.